How old does a child need to be to fully understand the reality of life and death? For 5-year-old Tia Hernlen, she could see the blood, but she may not have fully understood what had just happened to her parents. Whatever her grasp on the situation was, tragically, it was one she will never be able to forget. After finding her parents the victims of a ruthless murder, this little girl had the composure and the smarts to call for help. An incredible achievement in itself, though it does not make Tia's 911 call any less heartbreaking to hear.
911, where's your emergency?
Hello.
Hello. Is everything okay?
My mommy and daddy,
Uh-huh.
I think there's a bullet on the floor.
Where's Mommy at?
I don't know, I think they're dead.
What do you mean, sweetheart?
I don't know.
Okay, your daddy's on the floor. How old are you?
I'm 5 years old and I have a dog in the house.
Okay, baby, okay. Let me get somebody right over to you. Did you go in your mommy and daddy's room?
And there's blood.
All over the place?
Not all over. There's blood on the bed and blood on the floor.
Oh my goodness, and you have your little doggie with you?
And 3 cats.
And you got some cats too?
3 cats and 1 dog.
Okay. Are you the only one there besides Mommy and Daddy?
I said mommy and daddy and they didn't even answer.
Okay. What made you wake up tonight?
I think I heard a gunshot.
You heard a gun?
Yes, and I see a bullet laying on the floor. I think it's a bullet.
Really?
Mhm.
Who has a gun in the house?
I don't see a gun, but I'm scared.
Oh, sweetheart, I will not let anything happen to you.
Can you send the deputy down?
I promise I will. And you're only 5 years old?
Mhm.
You are so smart for 5 years old. Was there anybody else in the house besides you and Mommy and Daddy tonight? Like an uncle or anything?
No, there's no robber in the house.
Okay. Well, I didn't think there'd be a robber, sweetheart. Did you have anybody staying over the night with you guys tonight?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, and the doors are all locked and everything like that. Where are you in the house?
Well, I was in my room sleeping until I heard a noise shot and it woke me up.
Oh my goodness. What part of the house are you in at now?
I'm in the one, it's yellow, a whole yellow house, a green with it, a little bit of green, and a pink door.
Oh my goodness, that sounds really cool. Did you pick out the pink door?
No, my mom picked out the colors.
Look, I bet that's beautiful. Does Mommy and Daddy have a car in the driveway?
2 cars.
2 cars? What kind of cars do they have?
My mom has a Toyota.
What color is that Toyota? Is it dark or gray or silver?
It's red.
Red? Okay. What kind of car does Daddy have?
He has a Jeep. It's black and
Okay,
white.
listen to me. Is your phone the kind of phone you can take with you and walk around? There should be an officer at your front door. I need for you to take your phone with you and walk over to the door and open it for me, okay? And I'm gonna stay on the phone with you, okay?
But
I will not hang up.
I'm naked.
Oh well, you want to go grab a towel or something? I don't think the officer's gonna care, baby. We just want to make sure Mommy and Daddy are okay, all right?
Mhm.
Grab a blanket or something. Stay on the phone with me. Stay on the phone, all right?
Okay.
My name's Donna, by the way. You are doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
And I knew what to do first I forgot.
You did great.
I knew.
You are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You should be very proud of yourself.
I'm to the door. I'm unlocking it.
Okay. You let me know when the officer talks to you. Okay, you go ahead. Okay, you talk to the officer.
Talking to the dispatcher? Okay, tell her I'm here now, okay? You can hang up.
Bye, sweetheart.
He's here.
Okay, sweetheart. You be good, okay?
Come on over here.
Bye-bye.
Daytona Beach, Florida, March 28, 2005. Little Tia Hernlen had just awoken to the terrifying sound of a gunshot. The young girl, who was yet to even start school, headed to her parents' bedroom to find her father lying lifeless. The chilling 911 that quickly followed from Tia framed these deaths as a murder mystery. It also raised the question as to how Tia herself had managed to avoid contact with the killer. Tia seemed to believe that this may have been a robbery, but the truth is actually far more disturbing. The killings of 29-year-old Tia Hernlen and his 31-year-old wife Julia were carried out by a criminal out for revenge. 33-year-old David Edward Johnson had targeted the Hernlens after he had been arrested for drug possession. Johnson believed that little Tia's parents were behind his arrest and that they had tipped off the authorities about Johnson growing and having possession of large quantities of. In reality, neither Aeneas nor Julia had been to the police regarding Johnson and his criminal activity where drugs were concerned. They were not involved in any investigation that led to his arrest. This does not mean that they weren't acquainted with their killer, though. At one time, the Hernlens and Johnson had reportedly been friends. Whether that was true or not, no one ever expected such a frightful fallout. After his arrest, David Edward Johnson allegedly began stalking the surf-loving couple. He had arrived at the conclusion that his former pals had snitched on him, calling the police and reporting his criminal activities. This was untrue, but it didn't stop Johnson from seeking vengeance. He set out to ruin the lives of the Hernlens. Things eventually got so bad that Julia went to the police. Just a few months before Tia would wake up to find her parents dead, Julia attempted to get a court-ordered injunction to keep Johnson away from her family. This was their one chance to keep the family safe, to keep the family from being destroyed forever, but a judge denied the request, citing insubstantial evidence to go with the stalking claims. Johnson had not yet been violent at this point. There was no real proof that he had even been stalking the Hernlens. It was simply Julia's word, and ultimately, it wasn't enough to prevent her senseless death. When questioned about the case after the murders had been committed, Circuit Judge Richard Graham revealed that he wished he'd have acted differently at the time.
It was hard to prove stalking with the allegations. Looking back on it, I would have liked to have done it differently. But you review each case on a case-by-case basis.
Judge Richard's regrets mean little today, but for those of you hoping that David Edward Johnson was caught and brought to justice for the truly macabre murders, you may be in for a shock. After shooting Tia's parents, Johnson headed home, and later that day, he took his own life before authorities could arrest him. There was no note, no motivation or explanation for his actions. Did he know that 5-year-old Tia was in the house? Could things have been even worse had Johnson stumbled upon her bedroom? We will never know, but we do know that with 2 gunshots, David Edward Johnson took the lives of 2 innocent parents. News channels, both local and national, honed in on Tia's heartbreaking story. At just 5 years old, and after discovering a gruesome murder scene in which her own mom and dad were the victims, Tia kept her composure, spoke clearly to the 911 dispatcher, and provided them with all the information she was asked for. Sheriff Ben Johnson, when Tia made the horrifying discovery that night, her father Aeneas was actually still alive. The 29-year-old man was not pronounced dead until he reached the Halifax Medical Center in Daytona Beach. After surviving the ordeal, one would not expect a swift recovery. Tia moved to live with her grandparents in Central Florida soon after the deaths of her mother and father. Today, Tia's in her early 20s. She has carried on with her life while keeping out of the spotlight. She has never spoken about what she witnessed that fateful night, and we have no way of knowing just how much of it she remembers. Perhaps the most disturbing part of Tia's tale, though, is that the man who murdered her parents was once considered a family friend.